How can you keep your cash even safer at Fidelity with scammers on the rise? Hello, members, super savers, and Bond Course fans. I hope you're healthy and well. So most of our friends are not just pretty well educated, financially speaking, but also reasonably tech savvy, like many of you in our Diamond NestEgg community. But earlier this week, one of our friends clicked on a button in a very real-looking email and nearly got their password stolen. And the same day that our friend had this near-disaster phishing email encounter, this message from one of our members crossed my desk. Hi, Diamond NestEgg staff. I thought you did a video on Fidelity's extra security feature. I looked for it and couldn't find it. Could you let me know if there is a video and what it's called so I can find it? I want to up the security on our accounts. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Thanks. I've actually received more phishing emails than usual myself recently and was nearly tempted a few times to click on some of them because they looked so realistic. So with all that going on, as well as requests like this one from quite a few of you, I thought it would be a good idea to do a video about keeping everyone's cash safe, starting with the platform that many of our Diamond NestEgg regulars use. So let's talk about how to add an extra layer of protection to your brokerage and retirement accounts at Fidelity with an Authenticator app. Here are the 3 topics that we'll be covering in today's video. 1. What is an Authenticator app? 2. How do you link your Fidelity accounts with an Authenticator app for an additional layer of safety? And 3. What are some factors you should consider when using an Authenticator app? As usual, here's our front of video disclaimer. For a detailed disclaimer, please refer to the end of this video. Let's dive in now, folks. What is an Authenticator app? An Authenticator app is a mobile or desktop application that generates one-time passcodes, also known as OTPs, essentially a 6-digit number. Each of these randomly generated 6-digit numbers remains valid for a set period of time, usually 30 seconds, and is needed for you to log into your Fidelity account from a new device when the extra security layer for two-factor authentication, or 2FA, is activated and the Authenticator app option is selected. As the name two-factor authentication suggests, Authenticator apps enhance account security by requiring a second verification step in addition to your password. This means that when you log into your Fidelity account from a new device, for example, you have to first enter your username and password, as usual, and then you also need to enter the OTP, the 6-digit number, from the Authenticator app. And because you need the OTP from the Authenticator app on top, this ensures that no one else can get access to your account, even if someone has stolen or otherwise compromised your password. The Authenticator app works by syncing in the background with Fidelity through a shared secret key, often set up by scanning a QR code. Once configured, the Authenticator app produces the unique OTP codes based on the current time or counter. Authenticator apps are widely used for email, banking, and social media accounts, offering a convenient and reliable way to protect sensitive information. Now, many of us will be familiar with phone-based two-factor authentication, where your cell phone provider sends you the passcode per SMS or voicemail. Authenticator apps are generally seen as more secure because they don't rely on cellular networks, making them often less vulnerable to interception or SIM swapping attacks. Authenticator apps can be a bit of a hassle before they're installed and configured and synchronized with your provider. But once you've set them up and figured them out, they're easy to use and can support multiple providers and accounts within one app. That said, users should back up recovery codes or keys where applicable, as losing access to the app, for example, if you lose the cell phone that the Authenticator app is installed on, can complicate account recovery. More on this towards the end of the video. Authenticator apps are typically free. Popular examples include Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, and Authy. Personally, I prefer Google Authenticator when I have a choice because, well, we're generally Google YouTube fans, for obvious reasons. I've used Authy before as well, and it worked fine enough, but I didn't see a reason to have 2 different Authenticator apps, so I just moved everything over to Google Authenticator. Drop a comment below. Do you use an Authenticator app? And if yes, which one, and why. And let's move on now to the next section of today's video. How do you link your Fidelity accounts with an Authenticator app for an additional layer of safety? Here we are on Fidelity's login page. Let's enter our name and password and click on Login. This will take us straight to our dashboard. Let's select Profile up here, and this profile page will appear afterwards. Now we'll scroll down to the Security section and click on Security Center. And here we are at the Security Center page. Let's scroll down here to the multi-factor authentication at login section. And here you can see the Authenticator app option. Clicking on Learn More will bring up this box, which tells us why Fidelity offers this Authenticator app at login option. So, according to Fidelity, logging in via an Authenticator app is safer than just a username and password because the Authenticator app code is unique to you and your mobile device. Passwords can be stolen or guessed by hackers. As we discussed before, an Authenticator app gives you a second level of protection that may keep your account even more secure than getting a passcode via SMS. And before we start, we need to search for an authenticator in our App Store to see which one may be best for us. Fidelity supports most authenticator apps, and we need to download the Authenticator app to our cell phone device. So in our case, let's go to the Apple App Store here to search for the Google Authenticator app. As I mentioned earlier, Microsoft Authenticator and Authy are two other authenticator apps that some folks use. My personal preference is for Google Authenticator, and I know it the best, so let's stick with that for today's tutorial. Back to the App Store now. I'll type in Google Authenticator here in the search bar, and this page will come up. Be very careful here. The first app that you see at the very top of the screen may not always be the one you're looking for. It's typically the app that's paid for this piece of prime space here, as you can see from this small add notification box. The Google Authenticator app is actually the next one below the one that is paying for the advertising space. And let's click on Get to install the app. And once that's installed, let's click on Open. And this screen will appear. Let's click on Get Started, which will bring us to this welcome screen. Let's click on this Continue button, and this page will appear. Note the message. Looks like there aren't any Google Authenticator codes here yet. Now, I'll go back to my computer and this multi-factor authentication at login screen. And next to Authenticator app, I'll click on Connect. And this screen appears saying that to verify it's me, Fidelity will send a temporary code to my phone. I'll select Text Me the code and enter the code here and click Submit. And this next page appears. Now, I'll go back to my Google Authenticator app. To add a code for Fidelity, we can either click on Add a Code or this plus sign here. I'll click on the plus sign, and this box will pop up with the option to enter a setup key or scan a QR code. Let's select Scan a QR code. It's just more convenient than typing it all in by hand. And this box will appear telling me that Google Authenticator would like to access my phone camera because it needs the camera to scan barcodes. I'll click Allow because it doesn't really work otherwise. And then I'll put my camera up to the computer so that this QR code on the Fidelity screen is inside this green box. And once the camera has processed the QR code, we'll see Fidelity Investments here with our username next to it, plus this 6-digit code in blue. Once the code is on my phone, I'll go back to my computer screen and click Continue. And then I'll enter the blue 6-digit code here and click Continue. And this success box appears, and I'm all done. Now, the next time I log into my Fidelity account from a different device, say another laptop or tablet, after I enter my username and password and click on Login, this box will appear asking me to enter the code from my Authenticator app. So I'll open my Google Authenticator app, look for Fidelity Investments, and the 6-digit code in blue that's associated with Fidelity, enter that blue 6-digit code here. And I'll check this box. Don't ask me again on this device for the Authenticator app code the next time I log into my Fidelity account with the same device because I trust this device. If you do want Fidelity to ask you for the 6-digit code from your Authenticator app every time you log into your Fidelity account, for example, if you want to be on the super safe side and you don't mind the hassle, then don't check this box. I'll leave mine checked for this tutorial and click continue, taking me back to my dashboard. And that is how you can link your Fidelity accounts with an Authenticator app for an additional layer of safety. Now, let's keep going with the next section of today's video. What are some factors you should consider when using an Authenticator app? First, the 6-digit code in the Google Authenticator app is valid for about 30 seconds. Once it starts turning red, like here for example, it means that this 6-digit code is about to expire and a new 6-digit code will be generated for you. I typically just let codes in red expire and wait for a new one to be generated in blue because I'm not fast enough to enter the full code into my computer by the time the code starts turning red. But maybe you're quicker than I am. Second, you can add additional accounts to your Google Authenticator app. For example, if you're with another bank or broker that offers this functionality. And if you do, all the added accounts will simply appear on this Google Authenticator app screen in the order that you add them. And third, the Google Authenticator app will generally open up whenever you click on it. For even more security, you can set it up so that your phone passcode or face is required to open the app. To do this, just click up in this corner and go to Settings, select Privacy Screen, and turn it on by moving this to the right. Finally, and as a general reminder, the sad reality is that almost nothing in the online world is completely safe these days. The smarter we get about protecting ourselves from scammers, the harder scammers work to remove those protections. So, for instance, if someone managed to gain access to your Fidelity username, password, and the Google Authenticator app on your phone, they may still be able to hack into your account. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do our best to protect ourselves against such a possible attack. We should always do what we can to minimize the unnecessary risk with our money. Also, if you ever do accidentally lose your phone or delete your Google Authenticator app and can't get a 6-digit code, you will need to try to log into your accounts via traditional methods, such as a recovery email or backup phone number, and reset up your Authenticator app in the same manner as I walked you through in this video. I've also linked this Google help page in the description below in case you want more details about the Google Authenticator app, like how to transfer it to a new phone, for example. All right, members, super savers, and bond course fans, I hope you enjoyed today's video and learned something new. And as always, if you want to learn more about bond investing and building out a bond portfolio while rates are still attractive, and with all the money that's now even better protected in your accounts via your Google Authenticator app, then check out this video here on our bond courses. And for those of you who subscribe to Your Financial Journey, check out Caitlin's latest video here on the latte effect and how saving $5 a day from a younger age can grow into hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. I've linked all the details on that video, our bond courses, and our YouTube Super Saver membership below this video for your convenience. See you again very soon with more brand new wealth building content for your financial journey.